The shocking secret behind a mysterious and terrifying murder has been revealed. You will be shocked to learn the identity of the real killer in the murder that took place on the night of November 18th, 2008. We present a mysterious and terrifying murder that will keep you in suspense until the very last moment. Jack, a young man living in Los Angeles, is the only child of a poor family. Jack starts working in construction at a young age. After losing his mother and father, Jack begins to live alone. One day, he meets a young girl named Maria. They talk, fall in love, and decide to get married. After getting married, Jack wants to have children, but despite all their efforts, Maria's health problems prevent them from having a baby. Jack quits his job and starts gambling and drinking. He begins to constantly abuse his wife. Maria begins to hate her husband because of the violence she sees. On the night of November 18th, 2008, while Jack and Maria are sleeping, Maria wakes Jack up, panicked by noises coming from outside. She tells him that there are people outside. Jack quickly grabbed a piece of iron to protect himself, went outside and asked the individuals why they were in front of his house at night. The two men, for an unknown reason, started an argument with Jack, engaged in a prolonged struggle, and eventually stabbed Jack in the throat, killing him. The murder suspects then fled the scene in their car. Maria, curious, went outside and saw her husband's lifeless body. Going into shock, she then covered his body with a blanket she had brought from the house. Maria called the police 30 minutes after Jack was killed. The police arrived at the scene and began investigating the murder. At first, it seemed like a simple murder, but there was a much darker secret involved. The crime scene investigation team began examining the body. No murder weapons were found at the scene. The police began searching for the murder weapons at the scene. The police officer began taking statements from Maria and people living in the vicinity. Maria said she did not see anything while giving her statement. While Maria's statement was being taken, other police officers reached a witness. The eyewitness, who was a neighbor, had noted the license plate number of the fleeing vehicle. The neighbor told the police that they had heard fighting outside. They stated that they had seen individuals fleeing from the window during the incident. However, they stated that they could not see the individuals' faces because it was dark. Another eyewitness who was outside noted the license plate number of a vehicle speeding away from the scene. They also stated that there were two individuals inside the vehicle. After the eyewitness's statement was completed, the police officers compared the statements. They noticed that Maria's statement was contradictory. The police officer asked Maria why she called the police so late. Maria replied that she was in shock from the incident. The police officer began to suspect Maria. The police and crime scene investigation teams searched for cameras, murder weapons, and criminal evidence. 2 hours after the murder, the police team took Maria and the eyewitnesses to the police station, took them to the interrogation room, and began questioning them again. The police officer was suspicious of something and was investigating the incident. Maria told the police that she didn't see anything, only heard noises. 5 hours after the murder, the police identified the suspect's cars based on the eyewitness's statement and learned that they were registered to someone else. They contacted the car owner, who claimed to know nothing about it and said it was parked in front of his house. The car owner told the police that his nephew Bruce was using the car with his friends. The police then went to the car owner's nephew's house and found him at home with his friend. The police asked the man where he was last night. Bruce said he was at home with his friend. The police began to suspect these individuals and took the suspects to the police station for questioning. 6 hours after the murder, the police immediately began investigating the car they found. The police began questioning the suspects. Traces of the suspects were found in the car, but they did not admit to the crime. While giving his statement, Bruce said he was watching a game with his friend at home. The police are trying to find the murder weapon. Don't take your eyes off the screen. The truth that will come out in a moment will shock you. Finally, the police officer has obtained evidence to prove his suspicions. The results from the laboratory confirm that Bruce was at the crime scene, but the murder weapon has not been found. The police have reinterrogated the murder suspects. Bruce and his friend began to lie. The evidence found by the police changed everything, and the confession at the end will send chills down your spine. They started telling the story of the murder in a different way. While Bruce was being questioned, his friend confessed to the murder, crying out of fear. However, the murder weapon has not yet been found. His friend was arrested and sent to prison. After a long search, the police found the missing knife and iron that should have been at the crime scene. Somehow near the crime scene, 2 kilometers away. The police sent the broken iron and knife to the criminal laboratory. Keep watching, because what you're about to hear will change everything. Experts at the laboratory determined that the iron had been broken in half before the murder and then glued back together. The police began searching Bruce's workplace for evidence. During the search, they found the strong adhesive used on the iron. When you find out who the real killer is, you'll experience the same shock as the police. When the lab expert examined the blanket taken from the crime scene, they discovered a semen stain. They instructed their assistant to collect the semen sample from the blanket and analyze it. The secret that eventually came to light was more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Wait, when the results from the laboratory came back, it was revealed that the sperm sample belonged to the murder suspect, Bruce. The truth that Maria had been hiding completely changed the course of events. Upon learning that there was a relationship between the murder suspect, Bruce, and the deceased man's wife, Maria, the police raided the woman's home. However, the woman had already set off to flee to another country. While fleeing, Maria was caught in a police checkpoint on the bus, taken to the station, and confessed everything during questioning. When you learn the shocking plan behind the murder, you'll be left breathless. In her police statement, Maria revealed that she met Bruce at the workplace where they both worked. Over time, a forbidden love developed between them. Maria would secretly meet Bruce at her own home and spend time with him. They had been in a relationship for a long time. The excitement doesn't stop until the very last moment, and the confession at the end reveals everything. Maria confessed that she had started to hate her husband because he constantly beat her and that she had planned the murder with her lover. Later, Maria and Bruce were tried in court, arrested, and sent to prison. The lesson to be learned from this is that no crime remains hidden. Please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and don't forget to leave a comment. If you want to watch more mysterious and terrifying events, see you in our next videos.